It is one of the largest online sneaker and clothing marketplaces, StockX. If you don't know, it was founded in downtown Detroit. Our Jordan Burrows sat down with StockX president and CEO Greg Schwartz and also CEO of Rebrand Cities, Hajj Flemings, for an exclusive interview on the history behind the company.
Welcome to Tech Talk. Today we are taking an in-depth look into one of the biggest online marketplaces for sneakers and clothing that started right here in Metro Detroit. We are talking about StockX. I'm sure you've heard of it. Joining us is President and COO of StockX, Greg Schwartz, as well as this guy. You've seen him before. He's with Rebrand Cities, Hajj Flemings. Thank you guys both for joining us this morning. And Greg, we'll start with you. StockX, just for those that don't know, I mean, you got the huge headquarters downtown. What is StockX?
Yeah, so StockX is a consumer marketplace. We connect buyers and sellers. We have buyers in more than 200 countries and territories around the world. And buyers and sellers can come to StockX and find access to incredible items, whether it's the hottest sneaker, apparel items, collectibles, electronics. So we have an incredible catalog of items, and every time someone buys something on StockX, a seller is sending that item to one of our verification centers, so there's trust and transparency built into the process. And
I feel like more and more, like it's getting bigger and bigger. How have you adapted to like the marketplace being way more people are now using these, StockX type places to buy shoes and clothing?
Yeah, it's been incredible to see us go from sneakers into all of these categories, and from starting right here in Detroit, where I'm from originally, where we're headquartered, to now having customers, hundreds of thousands of sellers all over the world. We have buyers in more than 200 countries, like I said, so it's really become a global business headquartered right here at home.
Yeah, and Hajj, with you, I mean, culture and technology, when you take a look at what StockX has done, what do you make of that?
So when I think about culture in general, I think culture is America's greatest export, and in many cases it can be misappropriated. But when I look at StockX, I see this beautiful marriage between culture and technology. And there's a great quote from Steve Jobs, and he said, "Great technology is invisible." And so as a technologist, so when I see the platform, like I'm looking at it and I'm seeing machine learning, I'm seeing AI, I'm seeing data, but it's all synthesized to create a transaction between a willing seller and a willing buyer.
Okay.
And you're able to connect somebody who wants access to whether it's an item that's scarce or it's a luxury item, and you're able to make that transaction. And I think about this as a kid. When I was a kid, when I bought sneakers were a depreciable asset. But now StockX has made this an asset class and a collectible, and so I find it interesting.
Well, I'm glad that you brought that up, because that was going to be my next question is, it's literally, what's the saying, art, it's the beauty, the eye of the beholder. What's the art saying again when you see a piece of art? Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. That's kind of how shoes are now. Yeah. With both of you guys can both answer this, but how has that really changed just where we're at in this industry so far? And Hajj, we'll start with you.
So for me, I'll look at a platform like StockX to even look at trends, or to look at like what's hot or what people are wearing.
Right.
And so I think sneaker culture has really changed the way we dress, the way we do work, how we do work, and I think it also sneakers are a symbol of status. And so it communicates so many things that that people create conversations just around sneakers.
Yeah, brands have been putting out incredible products for decades, and we're really fortunate to be able to feature some of those incredible items and look at supply and demand for those items to establish a fair market price, and then provide access to those items that otherwise might not be sitting on a retail shelf.
With that too, I mean, it's been like this forever, but usually when you have a celebrity or nowadays a social media influencer rep your brand or the shoe or the clothing item, how does that change the value of the item?
There's tremendous hype that comes from collaborations, whether it's Travis Scott, you have Lightning McQueen, Crocs here sitting on this table. Collaborations drive a lot of the excitement around new brands, new products, and our customer is a next-gen customer. It's millennials, it's Gen Z, it's Gen Alpha, so they want things that are tied to collaborators, artists that they're passionate about, And then there's also this trend that is not just hype scarcity products. On StockX today, especially this holiday Black Friday weekend, we saw that more than 35% of U.S. sneaker trades were below retail. So now there's access to items that are at retail, below retail, incredible value that you can find for that next generation customer on StockX.
Hajj, coming into 2024, is there something you're most excited to look forward to as far as culture with StockX and other companies with shoes and clothing items and apparel?
So I can say this, I'm a customer, as well, and so when I look for stuff like fear of God, so like I'm an older guy, and so like I'm not going to get online. I'm not trying to compete against kids and bots, when something drops.
Sure.
And so for me, it's easier just to go to a trusted platform where I know I can get the product. I don't have to stay up all night to try to, actually like get a product.
Put the email in, and then you wait to get the
I'm not
notification.
doing all that.
You know what? Travis Scott's new shoes right away.
I'm not going to do all that. So.
Yeah, let's talk about, Greg, what we got out here today. Obviously, we have some Adidas shoes at the end. The Lightning McQueen Crocs, Uggs new shoes. This PlayStation device at the end that I actually haven't seen. Take me through these items here.
Yeah, so these are some of the most popular items from the Black Friday Cyber Weekend. You have Adidas Campus, you have Uggs, Lightning McQueen Crocs. I think this really ties to what Hajj was just talking about. Instead of waiting online and only finding out when you try to buy a new PlayStation Portal that it's sold out, this item is sold out everywhere in the world, but it's available on StockX, which is part of the power of a resale marketplace. They sell out and they end up in the hands of someone, a seller that has the item in brand new condition, sells it on StockX. So we provide access to items that aren't sitting on retail shelves. And this is one of the hotter items for the holiday season. And it's an example of an item that is beyond just sneakers, apparel, accessories that you'll find on StockX.
So is that sort of like a, I'm not sure what that item is. Is that like
this is a handheld PlayStation device. It actually links to your PlayStation console, streams from that PlayStation console.
So it's a newer version of the PSP.
It's a newer version of the PSP. And it's called the PlayStation Portal. It's available for about $300 today on StockX.
How long have you been, I'm assuming you were StockX since the beginning.
Yeah, we founded the company in 2015, launched in 2016.
Now, if you're looking at the website today, what's the favorite item on there? Like, what do you love that's on there for people to look at and for you to sell?
Yeah, one of the most popular items right now are actually this past weekend was the Yeezy Slide. It's still a really popular item, but we're seeing brands like New Balance, Adidas, Crocs, Uggs are becoming the most popular. They're back. They're stronger than ever, and there's great value in these brands that are on StockX.
Before I let you guys both go, I want you both to answer this too, because I think COVID changed a lot of consumer behaviors, and now we're going into 2024 and kind of COVID's in the back seat. People are getting out more shopping. We know there was more people with Cyber Monday, Black Friday. What do you hope changes for the better come next year and maybe even next Black Friday, next Cyber Monday, next summer?
It's been a challenging macro environment this year. You have, coming out of the global pandemic, you have obviously inflation, things that impact the economy, and the trends we see on StockX are people looking for items that are of great value. And so, hopefully we see continued strength. We saw a phenomenal Cyber Weekend, and we're hoping that that carries in, that momentum really carries into next year, not just for StockX, but for everyone in online commerce.
And for Hajj, for you too?
So I'm
you have a different perspective. We love having you on the show.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do, and I want to talk a little bit about StockX being like in Detroit.
Sure.
Right? You know what I'm saying? So, he's already kind of answered that question. So when you think about like unicorn or blue chip companies, they are typically on saturated coastal areas, right? But when you think about StockX making a decision to be in Detroit and putting their flag in the ground, I think it was very significant because it has the ability to be able to attract other tech companies.
Sure.
I think it also has a chance to have a cultural impact, to be able to impact people who haven't thought about technology and luxury maybe as a business or as a vertical. And so I think being able being able to inspire other people to even look at the career paths and the opportunity to be able to work for a cool tech company right here in the city, I think is important. And it kind of goes back to Malcolm Gladwell. So he coined the term like the tipping point.
Yeah.
So could StockX being in Detroit be a tipping point to attract not only young talent here, but other but also like other tech companies.
We are so proud of our Detroit roots, and I think what people don't always realize around the world is Detroit has incredible talent, a grit and a hustle. We have access to capital, and I think what StockX has shown is you don't need a Silicon Valley zip code to build an incredible tech company. You can
people
do it
always
right
have
here.
those negative looks at Detroit, you know, from the late 90s, early 2000s, but StockX is trying to help put that in a positive direction.
Detroit is a great place to be, a great place to be headquartered as a tech company.
Thank you guys both very much. Again, Hajj Flemings and Greg Schwartz, President and COO of StockX. Thank you guys for being with us. We'll be back in just a few minutes.